is El Doctor DJ Wheat.
Yes, thank you very much, Day. And you know what? This is how I like to run a tournament. No, that was the intro. We're jumping into game number 1, Shakur's Plateau, between Root, Minigun, and EGMachine. Like, I love it. Let's just turbo the Jets right into the game. And Shakur's is back, guys, being played right here in the SCRI, the SCReddit Invitational. I'm really excited to see both of these players play today. This should be a phenomenal third-place match.
Yeah, I mean, already these players have already put quite a dent into the good old tournament scene with a lot of impressive wins. In particular, we're starting over with EGMachine in the top right position as the Blue Zerg. EGMachine, well known for being one of those players who prefers playing with his own teammates. Always a little bit surprising whenever he comes to a new tournament because no one's really seen him ladder. So it's one of those, oh my god, I didn't realize he quite was that good. And in the top left, we have Root Gaming's Minigun as the Red Protoss. Now, I'm curious, Weed, have you gotten the chance to check out Minigun's stream on Team Liquid very much?
You know, I only have caught it once or twice, but I really kind of watched a few of the games that were broadcast from him. We didn't get a chance to see how he made it here against the 3-0 Moro that put him in the third-place contention. So I haven't seen too much, but I'm guessing you're about to tell us. Have you checked out his stream?
Yeah, he's actually one of the more popular streams to check out on Team Liquid because one thing about Minigun, he's not one of these other players who had, extensive RTS experience like a White Raw or like an EGMachine, but he just brute forced his way into getting good. I mean, has an outrageous amount of games played and is constantly up at the top of the ladder rankings. And here we see him doing some great little probe dancing by the natural expansion of EGMachine. Machine really, really likes getting his hatch first up. In fact, we even see Machine not getting a gas geyser back home, getting that spawning pool, but clearly trying to save as much money as possible to throw down that hatch.
Yeah, I really like that. Oh, and the pylon goes down right on top of it just to make matters worse. But Machine did go ahead and do the right thing, putting down that spawn pool, obviously not waiting for it. He's also going to be, droning up here in the meantime. He brings another drone down to try to work away at that pylon, and it is going to finish. Meanwhile, Overlord checking things out in the main of Minigun. The gateway's gone down in front, and then the pylon in the back look to be probably just pretty standard with the Psy-Core coming up next. And we'll see how Machine, is still going at it with this probe. This probe is just the ultimate in annoyance right here.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, that's always the hallmark of a very strong player. And again, Machine with his outrageous amount of games under his belt. I think he's even played like almost 3,000 games on the ladder or something absurd. Clearly, his mouse hands are used to what they need to be doing, and there he is barely getting away from those Zerglings and drones in time and continuing to nibble away at that pylon. There it falls. And Machine at the 4-minute mark almost just begins his first Expo hatch.
Yeah, and I mean, on Shakur's, a map where it's relatively safe to go ahead and take that natural. The Zerg wants to take it early anyway, and on Shakur's, it's like, I have that bonus of it being a really good and easy one to take, a relatively safe one, and, that's kind of a bummer. Now, had Minigun gone for some sort of quick nexus on top of his, on top of him stopping that hatchery, could be more devastating, but just means EGMachine just a little bit behind here. He is just droning up again, getting that hatchery down. Another queen is on the way, so he'll be ready to pop out the larva there on that second hatch shortly.
Yeah, love it when players get a very, very fast second queen, even if they do not end up getting that hatchery up. That spine crawler is just now finishing, so we'll be able to mosey its way down to the Expo. And, Minigun getting a Stargate. I'm hoping that that's what you went, about as well.
Yes.
Void Ray's increasingly becoming popular, and since he's getting warp gates so fast, there's a huge number of options. You can do the more typical, just get a Stargate and expand after a little while, or get a Stargate and then go for a warp gate.
Yeah, and I mean, Sean, what do you think? I mean, in these positions, that Stargate has just a little bit, even more of an advantage because it can work its way close by air into the back there. And, I mean, in relation to the different position they could have spawned cross position, what do you think? I mean, even better to have?
Yeah, I mean, it's always going to be a little bit more helpful. The real area that's always a concern when it's cross-map positions for that Void Ray is if for some reason you fly through the middle and a bunch of Hydralisks pick you off, or, more generally, a bunch of Mutalisks do end up sniping you or something like that. But, I mean, in these positions, the real concern for EGMachine is the fact that Void Ray is going to pop out, going to be able to kill a lot of Overlords. I mean, even look at the rally on Minigun Stargate right to the back of his base. Clearly, there's some Overlords already planted around there, and it looks like he is indeed going for a very fast expansion.
Yep, the Nexus gets thrown down, and we are going to have at least a single Ling probably pop up here and take some intel back to the base. Meanwhile, on the Zerg side, a Roach Warren is going down, and Speed has just finished with the lair being built, and we're going to want to keep an eye because that Void Ray is out doing its initial work on the Overlord. So that gives, what, maybe 15, 30 seconds here for Machine to sort of do something about this or react to it. I do see a second Queen being made at the expansion hatch. However, he is supply blocked with that Overlord going down. He's now going to charge up off these rocks and then go straight into the main of Machine.
Yeah, always a very great move, commonly used on this map. I love that destructible rock. Now he's going to do a little sniping action. He picks off one drone. It looks like he's only target firing the drones, doesn't want to take a risk and shoot at the Queen as they can get easily transfused and no guaranteed damage can be done. And he continues to do some nice hits, 5 kills total on that Queen, 4 drones and 1 Overlord. And as we see, second Void Ray now moving through the middle, cutting out those Lings by the Xel'Naga Watchtowers. Very, very smart play by Minigun. If we even look back at Minigun's main, he's only just now getting a second gateway, still making those Void Rays.
Yeah, still pumping them out. I like the fact that he's splitting them over here, Sean. And, you know, one thing to consider is that it pretty much forced Machine into Hydra, whether he was going that way or not. You know, that's sort of the route that he is now taking. And I like the splitting of the Void Rays because even if he's using more Queens to try to defend it while those Hydras are coming out, it's just going to be harder if you bring them both down to one area, which is exactly what's happening right now. As into the natural expansion, we do have one Hydralisk out, but this Void Ray is doing a lot of damage. While there's another Void Ray in the back, it does get taken out because of the 2 Queens, but this one down below does take out quite a few drones down here.
Great defense right there by Machine. Split those Queens up, now has that Hydralisk, continuing to try to follow down that one Void Ray that does have 5 kills. But as usual, Root Gaming's Minigun just going to be hanging out for a little while, playing very calmly. We look back in his base, very few units, even if we look at the unit counting station. 4 Zealots, 1 Stalker, 2 Sentries. That is the entire ground force. Whereas we see some Lings, Roaches, and Hydrals out for Machine right now. Also in the unit counting station, we see, though, that not a lot of drones out right now for Machine, having exactly as many as his opponent.
Yeah, and notice that Minigun, and this is again kind of echoes some of the styles of play that we've seen him do earlier, is that he's basically done a switch now over to what look like going to be Colossi, and that's going to work really good versus those Hydras. So he's continuing his Void Ray production, and he's doing a lot of damage with them. I mean, I would say that certainly what he's paid for it has helped out a lot. He's going to go back to work with the drones once again here in the main. Drones are all being pulled away. It's just the same amount of mine lost. Here come the Hydrals to try to help, but again, the Void Ray can escape with ease. So as long as he continues up that harassment, there's another Void Ray getting an Overlord at the expansion of Minigun. So I feel like he's handling this really nicely and setting up a good army that's going to counter Machine.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think that a lot of players began with the whole Stalker Colossus mix and only made those 2 units. Then over time, players realized how good the Sentries were in combination with that, and now the Void Ray is increasingly becoming another unit that people want in that sort of mix of doom. So I love the way that Minigun says, yeah, I want that mix eventually. What's the best way to get there? And we're seeing him just do aggressive Void Ray harass. We see the Void Rays now swinging along to the bottom right-hand corner, really managing the expanding patterns of Machine. Here they come. And no creep has really joined that, but there's a lot of Hydralisk nearby. Don't think these Void Rays will be able to do enough damage in time, but at the very least, they'll be able to take this Queen out. The Queen already in red health, 15 health left. There it falls. Here come the Hydralisk from behind, but the Void Rays are surprisingly fast when compared to those Hydras off creep.
Yeah, that was good little control there. You got a little bit of damage. He's going to go ahead and bait those Hydras out and get a couple more kills there before being able to escape. One Void Ray almost goes down, but he keeps the trio alive. He's got a Queen over here on the side, too, just to get ready. But he continues to want to harass this one area. So, again, doing some good work while the first Colossi is out. A second and a third are on the way here. So I like this now. You know, I would definitely ask Sean about, could Machine have been a little bit more aggressive early on, considering the amount, or rather the lack of units that Minigun has had throughout all this match?
Yeah, if you want to be aggressive in a spot like this, the thing that you really need is a Honestly, anytime there is a more mobile army, that is what punishes mistakes. Specifically, if you try to do something like go roaches, and it turned out you were wrong, roaches are not mobile at all, and the Void Rays would be able to pull back, pick it off. Speed Zergling Harass could have been a possibility. Sometimes some Banelings, but then you'd have to stay super low-tech when you're in Machine's position. So honestly, I think it's a great play by Minigun to say, I know Machine loves powering and is not too aggressive in the opening stages, so that's going to make this Void Ray choice a lot safer.
And I do like we got now a bunch of Corruptors out in the hunt. There are 5 of them just hunting around the map. They did almost meet up with those Void Rays, and the third is going down for Minigun. He's now started to move a force out. A few more Void Rays joining in that little party there. More Colossi are on the way. So his ground army is rather weak in relation to the amount of Colossi that he has, like kind of a lower ratio. But we've seen a lot of players use sentries and try to use force fields, and of course the Colossi range to their advantage. But you know, you'd mentioned the Void Ray, and having this massive Void Rays seems to really help things out for the Protoss in these battles.
Yeah, this is always a very funky looking army because it fits in such a small amount of space, which is actually one of its great strengths. The Void Rays, the ground units, and the Colossi can all be firing in one big pack at the same time. If you have a mass gateway army, a lot of the units get stuck at the back. A lot of the Zealots try to have to squeeze by all those Stalkers, and it can get a touch messy, but really this army plays very well with the rest of the army. But at the same time, Machine is, again, I'm always blown away at how far ahead Machine continues to pull despite being battered down at the opening stages. I mean, look at this. He's already outfooting his opponent. Minigun has taken the bottom left expansion, building Twilight Council's cannons to wall that off. So even if this attack fails, he's continuing to get more and more bases. But I think that this attack, if Machine controls it properly, is not going to go well at all for Minigun.
Yeah, Changeling did see this army. He's going to go ahead and push forward right away. Roaches out front. In come the Corruptors. And it's going to be a lot of damage here as the Colossi are microed back. They're trying to take out the Void Rays and the Colossi at the same time. Most of the ground army is about done here for Machine. But look at the amount of Corruptors there are. And there's just not enough units to take them out.
Oh my god, look at Machine's food up at 160 while Minigun's plummets to 100. That is the 300 food army by Machine in the midst of that entire battle, just holding down that R button with all of his rally points, really streaming roaches to the front lines, easily able to reinforce, take out those Colossi. Corruptors do end up pulling back, but if we look over at the production tab, we see that those 1-1 upgrades from Machine finish just in time. There's now an infestation pit going down. Machine realizes if I have all these Corruptors, Broodlords are going to help quite a bit, and there we see Machine taking his bigger army to do a little bit of aggression at the bottom left.
Yep, going to come on in. We are going to have an army in the back, but gosh, so many Corruptors here. They could just ignore those 3 Stalkers, go right after that Colossus, and that will hinder the army of Minigun quite a bit here. Only some ground units here, and basically these are just a few units thrown away here by Machine as he has been bringing out a lot more roaches. We see a ton now leaving his natural expansion, so he has been able to reinforce that ever so quickly, and the 4th hatches up in the southeast corner of the map, of course, just giving him even more larvae to work with here. 18 more roaches on the way, +1 air attack, or excuse me, +2 air attack and +1 ground attack, and +2 carapace are up. Now, I do like Psionic Storm being researched here, but is it going to be too little too late for Machine's now booming economy?
This is always an extremely awkward spot for Zerg, though, right when you hit 200 food. I mean, if you look at this mix from Machine, it's all roaches and Corruptors. But this mix is not really good at breaking some sort of entrenched, locked position, but it looks like Machine has no intention of attacking the front door anywhere. He's going to be loading up for a massive drop, and that's exactly what you need to do right when you hit 200 food. You need to figure out some way in which to be incredibly aggressive, either with Broodlords, Ultralisks, dropping Nidus Worms, some way to battle the fact that you cannot make units anymore, because a maxed Zerg army is actually surprisingly weak. It looks like the Corruptors are moving to the front. They're trying to spot any Colossi that are popping out, but that main from Minigun totally undefended.
Oh my god, Day, this is going to just be a massacre as a Void Ray pops out, but all these roaches, and this army is so out of position, it's going to take him absolutely forever to get up there. Already 1 gateway going down. In come the Corruptors to help out with any sort of air support. And these roaches are just tearing through everything. It almost doesn't matter if Minigun were to win this battle somehow miraculously, because a lot of stuff has already been taken out. He's going to have to rebuild a lot of that. Storms being thrown down all over the place, and these roaches are just continuing to tear through the Protoss.
There's absolutely no upgrade for the Zealots. They need that Zealot leg speed to be able to be effective. More Stalkers trying to warp in, but look at Machine with the surround. Just comes right up to the Immortals and cuddles them till they split apart into their mechanical bits. Archon trying to do a little bit of damage. Most of those roaches are very close to death, but look at production for Machine. 26 roaches en route right now, and 12 still up in the main, and there's the GG from Minigun, who